Welcome back, guys. Today's another tips and tricks video for you. I wouldn't say it's old school, but it has been around for a very long time, and I have looked once again over YouTube and around, and no one does this or even talks about this method. I have mentioned it briefly before in the past, but this time we'll have a bit of a chat about it, and it's sort of going to be like a video. It's going to be killing two birds with one stone. So I'm going to be talking about two different things for this one video. This one technique will do two different things. First of all, it's basically no snags fishing, so you're not going to lose much gear. And second of all, it is for fishing high current. It doesn't matter if you're in rivers, river systems, in river mouths, in bays, offshore. You can use this system anyway. Instead of like I've seen over the past, once the current picks up in certain areas, people just head home. I'm not sure why. I know it is hard fishing in current, it really is. Some guys will persevere and put their rigs down and what we say bounce back. So you drop your rigs down and at high current, the rigs will start lifting up a bit and you free spool and then drop it down, then repeat and bounce your sink it back. But that's also a good way to lose a lot of gear, especially if you're fishing rocky or reef, or some places a bit of structure. It doesn't matter on the species. It's a good way just to lose gear doing that. It does work well. You do catch some good fish if you persevere, but you're going to lose a bit of gear. And it is very hard in the current. So this method I'm going to show you today, it kills two birds with one stone basically. It'll stop you getting snags, and it won't matter how strong the current is, you'll be able to put baits down and chase your targeted species. Okay, like I said, rivers, offshore, inshore, it won't matter. Around reef systems, doesn't matter, this will work everywhere. Okay, and what I'm talking about today is these things. I know a lot of you guys are going to say, it's a downrigger, they cost a lot of money, and they do, yes. But once you've got them pretty much for life, and you can do a variety of things with them. I'm not going to sit here and talk about trolling lures and stock standard, what you do with downriggers, trolling baits for mackerel and that. Every man and his dog does that. There's hundreds of videos on YouTube. I've done it before. Okay. It's also heavy, that one. That's a full alloy and steel one. There's no plastic on it. It's a really good downrigger. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a downrigger for our sinker system. All right. So we've got our downrigger weights. That's an 8-ball. And I've got about a foot of, I'm guessing that's 100 pound, 80 or 100. And I've only got a little tiny peg there. It's only a little tiny peg, but that's enough. That holds my line and what I want it to do. I don't care for the real big bulky ones hanging off this. I prefer the small ones. Okay. So you've got your downrigger weight. You can either use an 8-ball or a 10-ball. I find an 8-ball easier to wind up using the downrigger, and it does everything I need it to do. I think 10's just getting too big. Unless you're planning on trolling some big lures, 8's fine. Okay. Next of all, the outfit. It won't matter what outfit you use. You can use spin reels, overheads, doesn't matter. Okay. It's not going to matter on your outfit. But the rig is. The rig for this system, all you're going to need is a hook on a good leader. So your leader, that's going to depend on the species you're chasing. Okay, so that can be any weight and any size hook. Depends on the bait you want to put down, and depends on the species. Okay. For this example, we're just going to say I'm chasing jewies down south, which I've done a lot, and use a downrigger. And my example for this, I used to use this in the seaway. A lot of people chase jewies over high tide, low tide, tide changes, and fish the seaway. When the current really picks up, most people go home because it's too hard to fish. There are a couple of people who have got their technique down, and they will use a bouncing back technique to catch fish, but they'll also lose a lot of gear doing that. Okay, so my method is, once again, offshore, inshore, bays, doesn't matter. If there's high current, just want to hook your leader, matching to the size of the bait and species, leader the same. What we want to do is put your bait on here. Generally, I'm running live baits, so I'm doing this because I'm usually chasing big fish, as you guys know. So I'll be using a live bait, and it'll be hooked through the nose. So in the current, you can just sit there and swim. Okay, don't hook him in the back where he's going to pull sideways and drown. In the nose, so you can actually sit nose into the current and swim, and you'll swim for hours. So what we do is live bait on, throw the live bait over the side. Okay, rip off say 20 meters, 20, 30 meters, whatever, doesn't matter. Just a heap of line. Don't have it too close to the ball. Then once your bait's at your desired out, so basically what you want to do is you want to anchor up current of the snag or the hole or the structure or the reef or something you want to fish. Okay, that's the whole idea. So reef, structure, whatever here, boat anchored here, current going that way towards the reef. So you want to be up current of the reef system, and you should roughly know how far you are from the reef using your GPS, your sound, or everything else. Say I'm 20 meters up current, so I'll run 20 meters back, then 20 meters roughly, I'll just put that in a big clip. Once again, you're basically just going downrigger fishing. Now with your downrigger, put your rod in free spool obviously, drop this down, but drop it down slowly to your desired depth until your bait's about 1 meter or 2 meters off the bottom. And to do this, most downriggers come with counters. I don't use the counters. I find the little plastic things break, they're a waste of time. I just got colour braid on there, so I know every 10 meters it changes colour. I've cut it, at the end I didn't cut it off halfway through all colour. I measured out all the colours, and then all the colours are measured out. I got the last colour still 10 meters, tied it off. So I know everything on there is 10 meters. So I go down, one colour's 10 meters, two colours 20 meters. And if I have to guess, it's 5 meters or something, you can pretty much ballpark it, it's not that hard. So then, with your coloured braid, you can drop it down to your desired depth and keep your bait or live bait at least 1 meter or 2 meters off the bottom. Okay? In high current, it won't matter what the current's doing. So basically you're going to have a ball coming straight down onto your boat, your bait's going to come down, or your line's going to come down, and your bait's going to be sitting 20 meters behind it, wafting in the current. And that should be just on the edge of the reef you're trying to fish, or a bit of structure or a log or pipeline or whatever you want your bait sitting off. Okay, so you know you got the reef down there or the structure down there, the fish are doing their laps around the structure in the high current, you're sitting up current, ball straight down to say I'm in 10 meters of water fishing in a river mouth. I drop it down to about 8 meters. Okay, ballpark it, you'll be right. Your bait's going to be sitting just on top of the reef. Okay, so your reef's here, your bait's just off the bottom, it's going to be here, and it's going to be in a prime time, strike zone, and it will stay there. There's going to be no need for dropping back, lifting, like your sinker lifting up and bouncing back. You won't need to with these weights. Okay, they'll keep your bait there. That's the whole idea of this. Just use this basically as a sinker. But use your noggin. Work out how far up current you want to anchor. You're not using your electric engine for this, because I said you're fishing hard current. In hard current, your electric might work for a little while, but it's going to drain the battery quick and you're going to stop and start drifting. It's not for this. This is going back basically old school. Drop your anchor up 20 meters, 30 meters away from where you want to fish. Okay? Drop your ball down, have your line back 20 or 30 meters back to your live bait or your big strip of squid or your fillet or something. And then drop this down so it's 1 meter or so off the bottom. And there you go. You're not going to get snagged. You're not bouncing back in amongst those things. You're not getting snagged. You're not losing your gear. Your bait's going to stay in the strike zone. And the best part about this in high current, when the people do persevere, I've seen over the years fishing high current, hook up, they've got to fight the sinker as well, because they're using a lot of weight. So you got to fight the lead, the weight of that, the fish, the current, everything. It's very, very hard. With this method, when a fish hits your hook, okay, your line's only just held in this little clip. It should be only just tight enough to hold your bait in. That's all. So when a fish hits this, he pops out like so, and it's you against the fish. There's no sinker. There's no weight. It's a lot easier fishing. Okay. You can just leave your downrigger down there, your ball down there. It doesn't matter. Your fish is out there in the current. He's going to stay down there in the current. And use the current against you. If it's dewy, and go away. So you can just leave the ball straight under the boat. It's not going to go anywhere. Don't panic. And when you get fish near the boat, they're pretty much buggered anyway. You can usually lead them where you want them to go. If you've got somebody else on deck, they can wind it up. If you haven't, don't panic. I don't. I fish by myself doing this, and I just leave it there. Because like I said, once the fish gets near the boat, against the current fighting you, it's pretty much done. You can lead it, okay, away from the downrigger. But that's it. It's a very simple trick, very easy thing to do. Yes, you are going to need a downrigger, but like I said, once you've got them for life. They last forever. They really do. And not only using in rivers and bays like down south in Port Phillip Bay, but use this rig for snapper and gummies and stuff if the current's really racing. Or in Port Phillip Heads where I grew up, the current's really racing. People go home when it starts racing. Don't use a downrigger, use a ball. You can fish throughout all the tides. Doesn't worry the fish, they're still there. They're still eating. Up on the Great Barrier Reef where I am now, and when I was fishing out of Yeppoon, we used to have days and nights of really hard current, and we watched all the other boats just disappear home. We didn't. We put down downriggers, okay? Big downrigger balls, baits out 20 metres behind, and it's a great way to catch reds and nannies, but especially reds, because reds really like hard current. And you don't lose gear. The only time you're going to lose this hook is if the fish you're chasing is a reef dweller or a dirty fighter. He takes you back into the reef and breaks you off. But if he does, you're losing a hook. You're not losing a whole rig. You're not losing sinkers. You're not losing the swivels and all your leaders and everything else, which cost a fortune nowadays. Anyway guys, that's that tip and trick. I hope it works well for you, and I'll see you again shortly in the next video. Thanks guys.